Jake Edmonds was there, all smiles for everyone. In fact, Donovan even shared the post-game spotlight with Royce O'Neal.
Yeah, Dave, this game was a total team win. 5 guys scored in double figures. Donovan Mitchell with a quiet, at least it seemed like a quiet 25 points. But the story this week was Royce O'Neal's brand new contract. And Donovan, usually what they do is they come in individually and talk to the media as individuals. Donovan brought Royce with him, and they kind of tag team their post-game media session, and it went about how you'd expect.
What'd you think of Donovan?
He was all right. I mean, he's just all right. I seen him play better. But I mean, he did a great job tonight leading the team. You know, he had a little hype moment. You know, I was the best hype man out there. As soon as he walked off the court during the timeout, I was right there.
Buckets O'Neal came out like he just got a new contract tonight.
Nah, man, I'm real happy for my guy, man. I'm really happy he deserves it. You know, I'm not gonna stop annoying him with the money jokes, you know, because he's came a long way. We obviously came in together, so it means a lot, you know, to see it. You know, it make me cry. Proud father. Chill. You're not talking about me right now. Talking about you. Cool.
Who's buying dinner tonight?
Royce, thank you.
Okay, then you got to buy dinner tomorrow.
Why?
Trade.
That's no more. Strictly you.
All right, we'll see.
All right, so Royce with just 5 points tonight, but he really made his impact as he usually does on the defensive end. Dave, he's really developed into that type of guy that can score when you need him to. He's shown he's capable of scoring, especially from beyond the arc, but he can do everything else when he doesn't need to score, and the Jazz are lucky to keep him around for the next 4 years.
You know, Donovan can have some fun with Royce because when it's his turn to get paid, his deal will dwarf O'Neal's.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, he'll be making a little bit more.
Yeah, just a shade. Hey, let's talk quickly about Quinn Snyder again. He's always going to find something that needs a little work. What was that tonight?
Yeah, he was asked about the turnovers. They had 21, which is not a good number, but they were really able to mitigate those turnovers by stellar transition defense. Only 16 points off of those turnovers. That's a really good number, and Quinn talked about that after the game.
We were not as sharp with the ball as we needed to be, and those live ball turnovers, I thought there were a couple times we could have fouled to stop the break, but for the most part, guys really recovered well and got to the next play. I think that's, when you do make a mistake on either end, your ability to kind of put it behind you immediately and try to make a play on the other end, and we were able to do that.
Quinn, that lineup that you had to close the third quarter, I think it was Royce, Bojan, Tony, Jordan, and Mike.
Mm-hmm.
That's obviously not a lineup that you've been able to use because Jordan's new and Mike's just coming back. But
Right.
What do you see out of that lineup?
Well, I think the clock went. Usually Donovan's playing during that time, and this time it was Bojan. So I think, for us, with different guys, with JC, with Mike coming back, we're going to see some different lineups. And the key thing for that is, whoever's on the floor, all 5 guys got to defend. And as they get more comfortable playing with each other, I think we'll continue to get even more efficient.
We don't see a lot of back-to-backs in the NBA as much as we used to. The Pacers just had to come off 2 at elevation, by the way, Nuggets last night and tonight. You mentioned on 2 News at 10 that they really looked, you were at the game, but they looked exhausted later in the game. Tell me more about that, because you don't see it as much on TV as when you're there watching them play.
Yeah, and you don't really see it manifest in their faces per se, because when we shoot the game and when we cover the game, we're kind of at the top of the lower bowl, so you don't really get to see them up close and personally. But when they're missing shots, wide open shots in the corner, like Doug McDermott, who's, he's on the team to make 3-pointers. He's kind of the Kyle Korver of this Indiana Pacers team. When he's missing wide open corner threes in transition, they're really struggling with fatigue. And it's not just the back-to-back, Dave. It's the fact that they went to Denver at altitude and then come to Utah at altitude, which also affects it. So it's not just the back-to-back performances and the back-to-back games. And it was a close game against Denver, too. They had to come back to win that game. Yeah. But in elevation, it really affects it as well.
Well, you've got a full lungs of breath, I can tell, because your report was spectacular. So the elevation has not affected you one bit. Thank you so much, Jake.
I grew up in this elevation.
Yeah, that helps. Yeah, heck, you were in Alaska.
Yeah.
You mentioned the
yeah,
schedule.
No, it's actually lower elevation
yeah, it's probably
in Alaska.
lower,
Yeah.
but it's colder. All right, thank you, Jake.